After the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia didn't just transition into capitalism. It descended into a free-for-all, a savage land grab of industries, power, and survival. And at the center of it all was a man named Boris Berezovsky. To some, he was a brilliant businessman and kingmaker. To others, he was a manipulator tied to Russia's most dangerous criminal network. The puppeteer, Kingmaker, and the Kremlin. The story of Boris Berezovsky. Boris Abramovich Berezovsky, born in 1946 in Moscow, the son of Jewish parents during the Stalinist era. A mathematician by trade, he earned a PhD in decision-making theory and worked with the Russian Academy of Sciences. By the late 1980s, he began dabbling in business. Just as the USSR started to crumble. In 1989, Berezovsky co-founded Logovaz, a car dealership and importer that worked closely with Avtovaz, the makers of the iconic Lada. But this wasn't just any dealership. Logovaz would become a money machine and allegedly a hub for illegal financial activity. By the early 1990s, Moscow was controlled not by politicians, but by gangs. One of the most powerful, the Solntsevskaya Bratva, led by the elusive Sergei Mikas Mikhailov. It wasn't long before allegations surfaced linking Berezovsky to Solntsevskaya. Swiss investigators later suggested that the gang may have been involved in protecting Berezovsky, with Logovaz allegedly used to launder money and conduct illegal business. Although the direct link was never proven, the protection for profit model was a common structure during Russia's wild 90s. But Solntsevskaya wasn't the only gang that appeared in Berezovsky's shadow. He was also allegedly connected to the Izmailovskaya gang, another powerful Moscow syndicate known for racketeering, contract killings, and involvement in oil and aluminum wars. Intelligence reports and leaked files over the years suggest Berezovsky may have facilitated business deals or brokered alliances that involved Izmailovskaya operatives, particularly during the brutal aluminum wars of the mid-1990s. The Orekhovo gang and Tambovskaya group have also been mentioned in context with his business dealings. Especially in connection to control over export routes, banks, and media. Alleged associations, not legally proven. But we all know by the mid-1990s, Berezovsky wasn't just an oligarch. He was a political kingmaker. He played a key role in helping Boris Yeltsin win re-election in 1996. Using his vast media empire to sway public opinion. In return, Berezovsky became Deputy Secretary of the Security Council and gained unprecedented access to the Kremlin. But with power came paranoia and enemies. His companies, including OART, Russia's largest TV station, and Aeroflot, were frequently under scrutiny for financial irregularities. Investigators claimed Berezovsky used a labyrinth of offshore accounts and shell companies, methods often utilized by criminal syndicates. When Putin came to power in 1999, he began dismantling the influence of the oligarchs who dominated under Yeltsin. Berezovsky, once a puppet master, quickly became a threat. In 2000, facing investigations and arrest warrants, Berezovsky fled to London. He was granted political asylum and became an outspoken critic of Putin. Claiming the Kremlin was run by former KGB officials using mafia-style tactics. But critics argued, was Berezovsky criticizing the system, or just the fact that he was no longer in charge? Several associates of Berezovsky would later turn up dead under mysterious circumstances. One of the most infamous, Alexander Litvanenko, a former FSB officer and whistleblower, poisoned with polonium in 2006 after accusing the Russian state of deep mafia ties. Litvanenko had worked closely with Berezovsky in London. Over the years, UK courts accused Berezovsky of fabricating evidence in some cases and interfering in others. Meanwhile, his empire began to collapse, financially, politically, and psychologically. March 2013. Boris Berezovsky was found dead in his Berkshire home. The official cause, hanging. Some called it suicide. Others, murder. The truth remains elusive. Berezovsky died disgraced and nearly broke, far from the empire he once ruled. But his story lives on as a symbol of post-Soviet chaos, where politics, business, and organized crime merged into one. Was Boris Berezovsky a genius who rode the collapse of the USSR to become a self-made titan? Or was he something darker? A man who didn't just work with criminals, but thrived in their world. In the end, his rise and his fall tell us more about the soul of modern Russia than any biography ever could. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Visit bamdesign.com and shop our store to support the series. Limited edition tees available now at a discounted price.